You don't have to ask questions. You know.
We were going to do quick fire questions too, actually.
Oh yes, like yes, no, maybe.
You get paid for questions.
Yes.
Who? You?
What was your question for quick fire?
Bon Jovi or Europe, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, mine was Bon Jovi or Europe.
Sorry again. The quick fire question. That's what the last thing I understood. And what was the question?
Like, do you prefer Bon Jovi or Europe?
Europe.
Oh, Europe.
Yeah. Yeah, because that one song. It was saying general Bon Jovi, but did they have another song?
Oh,
What was the Bon Jovi song then?
Adidas or Puma, wasn't it?
Oh, that's what the deal is.
Oh, okay. That's a final count. Yeah, that's what we do. So did we start already? Hello out there. Yeah.
We're going to do.
You can switch off now. That was the best part of the press conference.
Yeah, we'll do a breakout. It's going to be embargoed until the 10:30 p.m. tomorrow night. But we'll get to that. So maybe start the open.
Good, at least one serious person in the room. Thanks, Joe.
Jurgen, obviously we now know that when it comes to the semi-final of the Champions League, you will play Villarreal on the Wednesday, then it's Newcastle on the Saturday, Villarreal on the Tuesday. Even if they push the kick-off back on the Saturday, it would still, I'd imagine, cause you a problem. So how are you going to cope with the kind of scenario around that and the recovery time for your players?
Yeah, but that's a normal problem. So that's what I said. It's completely normal in that period of the first time that we obviously are in semi-finals of two competitions, stuff like this. So that's our problem. I have no problem with deal with that. But and we said that I don't know how often. It's a massive difference because each hour counts for recovery in these moments. And if you want to cause us problems, you send us at 12:30 to Newcastle. And I don't understand it because I can understand that people want to see a football game between Newcastle and Liverpool, but I don't see why you should. Any team should have an advantage or disadvantage, these kind of things. So that's just how it is. If I really think that the league and the broadcaster, they just have to try at least to help there. And we will see. I didn't hear anything yet about that. Nobody from BT contacted me yet. But I would say common sense would tell you that it's probably the right thing to do to move the game slightly backwards.
Looking at last night, it looked as though Manchester City faced a bit more of an intense affair than you did at Anfield. Could there be any kind of advantage for you going into this game against Manchester City when you look at what potentially went on in Madrid and how much that game could have taken out of them?
I don't know. I didn't see the full game. I saw a few highlights. Some of them obviously after the game. We had it last week before Face City. We had the away game and arrived then in the middle. The next day, we were right. We slept there. We stayed there overnight. So traveling is intense. Definitely will give us an advantage. I have no idea, but we will see that. It was for both teams. Both games were intense, but I didn't see the complete game from last night from City yet. We'll do that this afternoon, and then maybe I could tell you more, but in this moment, don't know.
It is the third time you've faced each other this season, though. You could feasibly still meet in the final of the Champions League as well, but both games have finished 2-2 in the Premier League so far. Can you actually surprise each other anymore?
Not just surprise. I think we all think a lot about these kind of games. We have to. So I think City was really strong last week. Yeah, and we were not at our best. So I would like to see a game when we are our best as well. So it would be interesting. So let's give it a try. Maybe that would be a surprise. All of a sudden we are good. And so boys did a lot of good stuff in the game, but I really think we, in a couple of positions, we really are able to perform on a completely different level. So I think we should give that a try. And then it's a cup game. So it's one-off means if it's 2-2 again, then it's 120 minutes, and then if it stays there 2-2, then it goes to penalty shootout. It's crazy that would be really crazy if you have to go all the way. But honestly, it's I really like that. I want to have 12 games from now on until the end of the season. We want to be in the finals and all this kind of thing. It's not about that. It's just it's tough and makes it not easier. But it's anyway. But still the best schedule to have, because it means you are in all competition as long as somehow possible. And that's why I'm really looking forward to the game. Wembley is a big pitch. Wow. So we have to cover a lot of grass and to run a lot and to close big gaps and all these kind of things. But I think it will be cool. Of course, both teams will use the last game for their analyze, of course, and we will see who uses it better.
Jurgen, because you played in so many times, do you notice, you talk about wanting to surprise them, but do you notice any little differences every time you come up against Manchester City in opposition?
Over the years, yes, of course. So I think we had some decent counterattacks in the past, where then I think Pep decided like fullbacks were not allowed to pass the halfway line anymore, stuff like this, and these kind of things. It's normal. We do similar stuff. It makes no sense to talk about it. So we try to deny them as well. Sometimes it works out, sometimes not. And but it's not about that. Still, we know about the quality of City. I mean, we don't have to mention it all the time, but everybody knows it anyway. It's like decisive challenges in a game, and you better win them. Otherwise, they're in a good position. We lost a couple of easy balls in the City game now a few days ago, and what they make of that is spectacular. Like the counter-attacks, like in the first minute already, but was it after 2 minutes when Sterling had a big chance? Ali made a great save. They had other situations where it's just good football, but the goals we scored were really good football as well, and we had other situations which didn't end up in chances. So, not about surprising or something like that. It's a really intense fight on a really high level. Concentration levels the boys have, all of them have to bring on the pitch is insane. I never really saw that. It's very similar to the Chelsea Cup final. We had 120 minutes. It's like unbelievable how intense it was in all aspects, and that's why it's so interesting. And on top of that, it was still a good game, because when tactical things match each other from time to time, it's like, okay, that's tactically really interesting, but for the neutral, horribly boring. And that happened rarely. It's now in games between City and us, and that's good for all the fans who will watch it.
And one more, if I may, because you talked about Benfica coming to Anfield and full throttle, and you've just spoken about the match against Chelsea being at Wembley in the final. Do you risk everything, or do you can it be treated as a final even though it's just a semi-final?
It has to be treated like a final. We have to. All in an ideal world, we have 12 games. That means but we only have 12 games with 10 around. We treat like finals. So that's how it is pretty much, and that's how we approach it already since January, since we started this little mission. And we have to go all in. Imagine now we would play against City and would think, maybe we can heal it less there, a little bit less now. Anyway, against City, you always have to see it as a final, but now it is a semi-final. Means it's the only way to get to the final. We actually want to go there, so we will try to play really good football. What would be then, in the best scenario, successful.
James.
Jurgen, Liverpool have won the FA Cup 7 times, and I just wonder, what does it mean to you personally as a competition, and what memories do you have of it, perhaps from being back in Germany?
Germany was quite a lot in the final, but we all know I tend to lose finals from time to time, so we didn't win them all as often as I would have wished. But massive competition, massive competition. We spoke about that before. So it's obviously so far we didn't even go to the semis yet. So it's first experience in a semi-final at Wembley. But better late than never. and now we are there, and it means everything to us. To be honest, we want to. I hope our people can get to Manchester. We didn't speak about to Manchester, to London. We didn't speak about that anymore. It's still the same issue, I think. The trains stopped already, or they will stop just 5 minutes before tomorrow. That's great timing. Hope they can make it, and that we have the atmosphere a semi-final between Liverpool and City deserves.
Have you practiced penalties?
We do that quite frequently, not only around any cup games. It could have been necessary last night as well. So the boys should still know which corner they want to choose.
Carl at the back.
Very good. I think yesterday was only the third time, excluding cup games, that you'd not started Mo this season. I'm just wondering what told you that he didn't have to start. What do you hope that rest will have done for him, and how will it help him going forward?
The reason for Mo not starting is easy. Because now it was about, yes, he played City, but we have after that hopefully 12 games. So, and that's why when we have the opportunity to change, so that's all. Even if Mo would have scored 4 goals in the last game, he wouldn't have started yesterday. So that's how it is. It has nothing to do with anything. There's no story to make of it. It's just the necessity. Mo played in January and February 6 times 120 minutes. So now we can just close our eyes and say, who cares? Even he is just a human being, and that's why it was clear there will be games where he cannot start. There will be games where we take him off. He hates that, and that's clear. But so people might think what I'm doing the whole day. So yeah, to think about these kind of things when these things are really necessary to do, and that was clear the case. And I think the game proved it 100%. We spoke then afterwards about conceding the goal, stuff like this. It was in moments not good defending, but it's nothing. We were a bit flat-footed and hoping for being offside. That's not how we should do it. But in general, the intensity of the game showed me it was 100% right to change 7 times. And the next reason was 3-1 up, 6-2 up, and then lost a little bit focus. That's happened as well. It's not cool, but happened to all of you here in this room as well. In moments when you think you've done it, you realize you closed the door a bit too early. So that's completely normal, and that's why Mo didn't start. What I hope, just hope that the boys can play on their highest level as often as somehow possible. And that's what we try to do with that. And believe me, it's a massive difference. If you play 3 days after you play the game, again 90 minutes, you have to go with all you have. Or if you play a few minutes in this game and have today a nice session, which is intense as well, but not even close to the intensity of a game, and all of a sudden, because the boys are really high trained athletes, they don't need a lot of time for recovery, but no time for recovery, that doesn't work. And that's why I made the decisions.
Do you think he was feeling that workload then? Do you think Mo was feeling the effects of that workload in January and February? No,
that's nothing conscious. It's not like this that you think, it's just logical. That's easy. If you sleep 4 nights in the week, only 2 hours, you think, oh, I'm fine, until the 5th day you get a knock. So that's how it is, and that's with footballers as well. They are completely in a tunnel. They want to play. They want to be successful, win everything, these kind of things. That's what they want to do. That's why I don't ask players, are you tired? No. Why? Do I look like? All these kind of things. So no, it's not just I have to make decision without talking a lot. Just make it and then deal with it. Go from there. My responsibility, right or wrong. But we could. Yesterday, 7 players who started 4 days ago now didn't start last night. Great. 7 more players got some rhythm. Great. We are in the semi-finals. Outstanding.
The wider picture, is everyone else all right for the weekend?
Yeah. As we said last night that Jota got that swole up slightly directly after game. Obviously, while I was in a press conference. Jota, so good chance that he will be all right, but we need to have a closer look tomorrow. That's it.
Okay, we will leave the open press conference there. If you can stop streaming and recording.
Thank you so much for watching the video. If you would like to, check out redmenplus.com, our Liverpool streaming service and bonus content site that gives you more Redmen TV studio shows and documentaries, features and interviews, as well as a whole lot of podcast content as well. Head to redmenplus.com by clicking the button, go and subscribe, and yeah, fill your boots on amazing Liverpool content.